Servus Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. Today I want to talk about my beautiful Bavarian small town and how it has changed since the days when I was a little kid, or let's say a teenager. I'm talking about 30 years ago or something like that. And before I go to the actual story or the actual description, I have to take a little detour with you, and I hope you bear with me, even though this will be seemingly all over the place. Alright, so I don't really believe in fate or destiny, and I also don't believe in pure coincidence either, but more on the side of coincidence, I think. I think that sometimes there are things that are odd or suspicious and that happen at the same or around the same time. And something like this really happened to me the other day. I told you that I am subscribed to a YouTuber called Renaissance Horizon, or his channel is called that. He covers similar stories as I do on my channel. His topics are a little different, and he also has a broad background in European and US and world politics and so on. Lately, he doesn't only post videos, he also makes a lot of general posts where he posts links or writes a couple of short paragraphs. And the other day, he linked to a video where a resident of Philadelphia in the United States, I think, takes a tour in his car with a GoPro or something like that along Kensington Avenue. Now, for everybody who is unfamiliar with Philadelphia, that's a not so nice and not so safe area. And then I looked at the channel of this guy, Kim something. I guess he's Korean because in some of his early videos there is some Korean writing on the screen, and he does a lot of walks and drives and records that and uploads it to YouTube. And he started 10 months ago or something like that, and since half a year around that time I think he started doing almost daily, and lately it is daily, so daily tours of Kensington Avenue, and you can even see some changes there. Anyway, so you see it here in the background. You see that there is recreational use of various substances going on, and they are also bought and sold in broad daylight. And it is now the nature or effect of these substances that they promote the user into a somewhat zombie-like state. So it looks like they are searching for coins on the ground, or that they almost lose their balance but not really, or that they're doing some yoga or stretching exercises. It looks quite comical, but it really isn't. What you see here is final destination of a civilization. That is truly the end. And you can see that there are people walking around who ignore that. There is even law enforcement walking right by and they do nothing. People have arranged themselves with these things and they do nothing about it, and probably they don't even see it anymore. Now, of course, we have areas like that too in Germany, but they're singular islands, singular points in Berlin or in Frankfurt or Hamburg or something like that. But it's not like you can drive along a street for what seems like miles and miles and you see like tents and people squatting on the ground and using and all that stuff. Sure, if you go to the train station or around the Hauptwache in Frankfurt or something, sure, you see that. Or there is the infamous Görlitzer Park in Berlin where the Green Party de facto legalized it all. As long as you meet the melanin requirements, of course. And where just now I read a newspaper article that children are afraid of sleeping on the ground floor because of all these merchants. Alright, so of course there are places where similar things are going on in Germany, but it is really different to what you see on this guy's videos there from Philadelphia. That looks like a legit zombie movie, and it's so many people, and it is such a large area that it is not really the same thing as in Germany yet. And then we look at my beautiful Bavarian small town. So let me tell you what happened just the very next day after I clicked on this video that Renaissance Horizon linked. And I watched a couple of more videos from that channel, as I said. And you can look at this too when you want to feel really depressed. So what happened just the next day? I take a walk in the sunshine in my absolutely clean, spotless, nice Bavarian small town. There are gardens. It seems like every second person here is a hobby gardener. There are fruit trees, there are fences, there are nice trimmed lawns and flowers everywhere. Old German Fachwerk houses, nice cars, happy families. And then I approach a bus stop. So I'm walking along a hedge, and then there is a brick wall, and behind that brick wall is a bus stop. And then I smell some exotic perfume, some smell that I haven't had in my nose for a very long time. But of course, my brain instantly recognized the scent of this exotic herb. And once I made it behind that brick wall on the sidewalk, I saw to my left what seemed like a 14-year-old teenager, a little girl, with a tattoo on her forearm, puffing away. And of course, I know this is not a normal cigarette. My instinct was, of course, to yell at her and ask her what the hell she's doing there. But then I realized that we live in the current year, and probably her parents are okay with that and I get in trouble for something. She noticed that I'm staring at her, but she didn't care one bit. And then I realized that a couple of meters away, there are more adults, middle-aged people. So my understanding was that most of them probably know what's going on, but they decided that they don't care, and the girl knows that. And now I want to talk about this comparison I spoke about earlier between then, when I was around that girl's age, and now. So back in the day, let me tell you, we actually went outside of town to a little patch of forest that was far away from any streets, where we were sure that nobody could see us. And you know what we did then? Then we smoked a regular tobacco cigarette. It wasn't even per se illegal. It was just not for use of minors, or not to be sold to minors or whatever. But somebody stole them from their parents or from an older brother or something. I don't know. And we were really paranoid about somebody smelling that on us, or somebody just who takes a walk or rides their bicycle would see us or smell something. Because this is how it was back then in a rural area in Germany. The whole community still was able to exert some corrective force on the other members, and especially on young people. And we would have been in deep trouble had anybody seen us. It wasn't just in our heads. So of course, Berlin, as I said, is not to be compared with Philadelphia, and also my still beautiful little small town, of course, is not to be compared to even Berlin. But it just goes to show that times have been changing, and this laissez-faire policy that led to these circumstances in Philadelphia and also in Berlin is of course already invading small-town Germany. It will of course never lead to these dramatic zombie invasion-like scenes, but nevertheless something is changing in our society, and I fear that it can never be turned back again. More to the point, I think what we see here is not only laissez-faire policy, but it is apathy. It is indifference to our fellow men. People see that and they just shrug their shoulders and they don't care. And this is not how healthy societies work. This is not how a healthy society looks like, where people, to a certain degree, of course, you don't want to invade someone's privacy too much or bother them too much, but where people to a certain normal degree look out for each other. And if you think that the opposite of love is hate, then you are truly ignorant, because the opposite of love is indifference. And when you see people walking by and saying nothing, you know that there is no love in this society. There is indifference, which is the opposite of love. And yes, of course, I also didn't yell at this little girl. I don't even know if she was from that town or if she was from out of town and just waiting for the bus. Let's just say, had I known this girl or her parents, I would have said something, but as it was a complete stranger and we do live in the 21st century, I really don't want to risk anything for a brat that I don't even know, but of course I fully admit that is part of the problem. So I do not exclude myself from the criticism that I raise in this talk, obviously. Alright, I want to thank all my supporters and my subscribers. Like, share and subscribe. Follow me on the other platforms linked down below if you want to. And I always appreciate your support on Patreon or Subscribestar. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below, or if you have watched those videos from Philadelphia. I should add that I left a comment on this guy's videos and I advised him to be really careful, because his videos have, gotten a lot of views lately, and he's doing these tours daily. And he didn't only record some of the users of these substances, but also some of the merchants. And, I think that is pretty dangerous. These people also have smartphones, and one of them probably found these videos already. Maybe they're just waiting for him or following him. I don't know. I think that's very dangerous. It is a cool channel. These are cool videos. Not that they're fun or something. It's really sad and heartbreaking, but it is important to show that stuff, to show the real face, or one of the real faces of America, or of the Western world at least. As I said, you find these scenes on a smaller scale also in Germany, of course, and many people choose to ignore these things. But I guess this gentleman should be really careful, and he should put number one first. So I hope he stays safe. Servus, Kameraden.